One of the most important pillars that we can have as men is the pillar of prayer. Prayer is a foundational and fundamental thing to do. It's communing with God. It's having a conversation that's ongoing with God. And sometimes we know that there are times of the day that we separate to commune with Him. Just like when we're trying to connect with someone that we love. We call them, we text them, we spend time with them intentionally. Well, prayer is that thing that we do with God where we intentionally carve out time to speak to Him as He in turn speaks to us. Jesus Himself exemplified this many times during His earthly ministry. You would hear of Jesus going away into the mountains and having His time with His Father. This is Jesus. He was God. And yet He Himself saw the importance of carving out time to speak to His Father. Jesus already knew what His plan was. Jesus already knew what His purpose was. Jesus already knew what His Father was like. He literally left heaven to come to earth, according to Philippians chapter 2. He left His glory. He left all of what He knew, His riches, to come here to earth and be human just like you and me, so that He can fulfill His purpose. And yet, while He's here on earth, wearing His human uniform, He decides to huddle with His Father, with God, and say, God, I'm sure He's telling Him how this physical body made Him feel. I'm sure he was saying how hungry or thirsty sometimes He was, or how tired physically He would get. And yet, here He is, Jesus, 100% God, yet 100% man, taking out time to pray. What about you? What about me? Do we carve out time to pray? And is it necessary to kneel down somewhere in a corner? Is it necessary to have worship music? It's, all of those things at the end of the day are preferences. The bottom line is your heart, is my heart inclined to initially and intentionally seek out God in prayer? Another question that I would ask, are you a man of prayer, or are you a man that prays? And here's the distinction. A man of prayer is a man that is consistent in how he pursues God's heart. He is constantly reflecting within himself the need, the deep desire that he has to connect with God. When you and I, perhaps, I'll speak for myself, when I was dating my wife over 27 years ago, we had no cell phones, we had no internet, really, none of that existed. And I remember not being able to see her some days because of our schedules. And so I would have to go to a payphone because I was living at home, and I had a younger sister who would always hog up the phone. You know how that is at home. So I would have to look for a payphone, have some change on me to make sure that I could continue to feed that payphone. And for you younger folk, that's literally like a Superman Clark Kent type of booth thing that you would see Clark Kent go in and change to be Superman. Yeah, those things are real. They existed at once upon a time. And I would call my wife and intentionally want to hear her voice, want to speak to her, want to connect with her. And sometimes I would hear, please deposit 10 cents, because our time was coming to an end, and I would have change on me and try to feed that phone so that I can speak with her, connect with her. Well, that's what prayer is. But it's going above and beyond, saying, no, this is something that I need. This is something that I want to pursue. This is something that I desire because I need it. I need to speak to God. I need to connect with Him. Silence the noise, all the distractions, and make that intentional move to say, God, here I am. I need you, and I want to speak with you and commune with you. That, my friends, is the power of prayer.